And we can do the same for a snowman. You could put these between centres and hold them between centres, cut a tenon on the bottom, but as they're small pieces of wood, just need to make sure it doesn't touch the rest. As these are small pieces of wood, they will be alright. Tighten up the tailstock, tighten up the quill, chucks tight, turn the speed back down. You don't have to use a spindle roughing gouge, you can use your spindle gouge, plane and cut. There we go. Move the tool rest in a bit. Mark our waist. There we go. So I've made up a little storyboard just to tell me the kind of shape we want. So that will be the bottom part of the snowman. That'll be the head there. Brim for the hat and the hat. These are just a rough guide. So we'll do the first cut for the base. It's like cutting a big fat bead, really. You can do the same for the head. Now I like to just take the width down slightly, because the head's generally slightly smaller than the body on a snowman. so we'll cut the brim. Again, there will be a hole in the top where we put the tailstock, so we just need to part that off. Clean up that brim. You just roll the edge of the brim over. You have no sharp edge there. And again, you can take the tailstock away. Now it's down to taking light cuts. You always support it with your other hand. One more. There we are. And it's just a case of giving it a quick sand. Now, U doesn't like to get too hot, so make sure you keep moving the sandpaper. Right, so that's been sanded down to 320 grit. We'll just put on some sanding sealer. There we go. Denuded that. Wax stick. Then buff it off. Remember, U has a tendency to split, to produce micro fractures or small splits in the timber if it gets too hot, so keep the cloth moving, don't hold it in one place, and you'll be able to keep the temperature down. There we go. And once again, you can part off. There you go, one snowman. Now this will get passed over to B, and she'll work her magic with some pyrography. There we go, I'll pass those over. You can see the pyro bit, and then we'll put some photos at the end. Right, just turning the noses for the snowman. Now you can use a set of pin jaws, hold something like a pen blank in pin jaws. You could use an off-cut timber, so you could So you could use an offcut. This is a bit of oak, probably not the best for a nose, but it's a good example. And then we just like so. Need to make it a fairly small nose, so we'll just part that down. There we go. Quicksand, starting at 240. 100, and you can part that off. There we are. I don't have pin jaws, so I don't have pen turning jaws, and the pin jaws that I've got only go down so small. So what I've done is purchased some 6mm dowel, which makes a good nose. It's obviously too small to go in that hole at the moment. So what we do, just take the jaws off the chuck, the chuck will still operate. Make sure you put them somewhere safe so you don't lose them. Stick the chuck back on. Axminster sells 6mm dowel, or you can get them from any of your trade suppliers. As you see, without the jaws on, the carriers go right up tight, so you can tighten the dowel down. Don't want to make it too tight. Bring up the rest, making sure that you're nowhere near the chuck. Now you've got to be careful when the chuck's spinning. These pieces here where the carriers have been wound all the way in could be liable to catch your fingers if you're not careful, so be careful. And then thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to make a comment down below, and don't forget to. And then all you're doing is supporting the dowel with your finger, making a gentle cut just to bring it down to the size that you want. You don't have to hold the timber hard, you just need to support it with your finger so that you're not going to break the dowel. Just reduce it down to a size, kind of look for about 3mm in size. There we are. Quick sand, starting at 240. If you're not confident moving the rest, stop the lathe. 320. 400. There we go. I'm using the chestnut orange spirit stain for the carrot. These nozzles are really handy. Allows you to deliver a small amount of stain. Make sure you put the lid back on the nozzle so it doesn't spill everywhere. That's it, one of those. Just need to let the stain dry. You'll know when it's dry because it's not leaving a residue on your glove or on your finger. As soon as that's dry, apply some sanding sealer. That was my box of chuck jaws I carefully placed out of the way and then trod on. There we go. Because we've applied stain, it's worth applying a spray sanding sealer. So this is a cellulose sanding sealer. Apply it with a spray and it won't reactivate the stain. Just let that dry off. Denib. Now you can wax it now if you want, but the snowman will be buffed, so we'll just cut the nose off. There we are, and that's ready for fitting into the snowman. Just a quick tip: when you're putting your jaws back on, remember to open the carriers so that the jaws have enough space to be fitted. It's also worth just using a needle to clean the sawdust out from the head of your screws before you put them back in, because that will then allow the Allen key or the Allen driver to sit all the way in the into the screw and tighten up. It prolongs the life of the head of the nut. And then we can put the chuck back on. Right, it's just a case of drilling the hole. Take it nice and slow so you don't break out. There we go. and then we'll just super glue that in. Once you've made one, you'll make more, and then you'll start experimenting, maybe with some colour, some texture, pyrography.